Did you go to university? How did you think about all of that? And then I'll ask the follow up after that.
Yeah. Yeah. So I did the traditional go to college, studied political science, uh, graduated, but like I ended up taking the LSAT to go to law school, not because I wanted to be a lawyer, because I didn't know, not that I'm from like the middle of nowhere, but I'm from a smaller town. And just when I was like 19 going into college, the only thing on my mind was I have to be financially successful because that's what everyone's told me. And I kind of thought, okay, well, from where I'm from, like if you want to make money, you could be a lawyer, you can be a doctor, maybe own a business. Like I didn't really understand that there was like all these endless opportunities in, different cities for different types of jobs and things like that. So I I studied political science and it was just in that mindset of always curious, but I didn't know what else was out there yet. So I was kind of on the, traditional track. And then as soon as I graduated college and started living in a city, that's when the wheels really started turning. You start meeting people. Oh, what do you do? Oh, that's interesting. How'd you get into that? Oh, that's weird. Like you studied music theory, but you work, you own this business. Like how did those things line up? So I feel like I was on a pretty traditional track until I started to get out into the world and just like you guys said, just be curious and talk to people.
And then, so now, as you sit where you stand today, Uncle Dan,
Yeah, hit me.
should young people be going to university?
Oh man, I love that question, dude. I'm not that far removed. It's like it's far. It feels really far away, but it's also like 15 years. It's not that far away. Um, Here's why I think going to school was really good. I don't remember anything I learned at all. But I was at times like kind of a anxious, awkward guy, and college helped me to just meet people. And that, like the interactions I had, like I said, from a small town, so I feel like just getting out into the world a little bit more and meeting people from all over the place was a huge benefit to me. So I'm glad that I did it, and I worked the whole way through college to pay rent. So there was like little things that I was learning that had nothing to do with college that were, beneficial to my growth. Having said that, I think I kind of, especially with the life that I'm living now and seeing young kids and how impressed I am by some of the things that younger kids are doing now. I wouldn't say, it definitely would not say it's necessary. I also wouldn't say though, like, no, screw college. It's a terrible idea. I don't believe that. And I also think there's still professions that require a degree in college, and we need those professions. So like, I think it's absolutely necessary. But if your goal is to, there's so many, do you need college? Absolutely not. Like the opportunities that exist now with these different platforms and AI and how much, how big of a business you can run with a small team. Like, I think if I was 20 years old now, I think I probably would have delved into a lot of this stuff. If I was raised in high school being on social media, I would have probably started doing this stuff earlier.
Totally. Yeah, I started all this. Go ahead.
Think about. I'm curious.
Oh, I was just gonna say I sent Keith a voice note yesterday, and I said to him, I'm like, all these people are hating about AI, and it seems like the education establishments should be catching a little more heat for people not being equipped, because people can say, oh, AI is the reason why young kids can't get a job. But I've employed young people. They're not equipped for the current day climate. They're just not. Like they're not given the skills. When they go to school, they aren't given the tools to actually thrive in this environment. And so I think that a lot of attention should be pointed back towards the schools and be like, okay, are you preparing them for the world of tomorrow or the world of 20 years ago? And that's really what I spotted when I was in school. I was in school 10 years ago, and it was happening then, where I was like, these guys are so far behind, which is why I really was aggressive with starting my business while I was in school. But I get why people are pissed. They get to the end, they paid all this money, and they're like, this isn't the world I was told that I'm entering.
Yeah, I can't imagine graduating right now. I feel like right now is even more so like, you know, yeah, just it seems the job market is a lot more bleak than what it was. And just knowing that there's all this other stuff going on, it is kind of, yeah, I could see how kids nowadays would be like, yeah, I don't know about this whole college thing.
So, from my perspective, I mean, we've talked about this endlessly on the pod, but there was one thing that I recognized after going through my experience. One of my best friends, he went to an Ivy League university, and I definitely think so. Here's what's in my head right now: the cost of college has risen drastically, right? All of them have, right? So if you're not going to a community college, almost every university is going to have a pretty high price tag. But when you're going to university, the major thing that you're going to really get out of it, outside of the classroom, mostly is going to be the biggest benefits. It's going to be the connections that you actually make with people, whether it's your professors or the actual students that you're around and their parents and so on. And so, seeing my friend go to the Ivy League school, the return that he's going to get on that is exponentially different compared to the return that I'm going to get on the university that I went to, for thinking about the idea that the connections are the biggest benefit. And I just saw this post this morning as well that kind of points to this as well. So this guy, CJB Esquire, said, this is why elite universities are elite universities. And this guy, or this lady, I think, Riva, was saying, how is this a class? This is absolutely insane lineup. And this is Stanford University, spring of 2026. Frontier Systems is the name of the class. It's a computer science class. So the AI and infrastructure stack is being rebuilt from the ground up, and most people only see one layer of it. This course covers the full stack, from energy and silicon to foundation models and the applications reshaping how we work, create, and discover. So first thing about this is these elite universities also are intentional about getting ahead, right? They actually are the ones who make sure that they're doing something, because they know they're charging crazy amounts of money and they're supposed to be prestigious. So they have to do something to maintain their status. And that is by actually innovating and coming up with new courses and having professors that care. So the instructors, right, for the class is a guy named Michael Abbott, who was at GM, Apple, Twitter, Kleiner. You've got the speakers that are coming through for this semester. Amin from Google, Andrej from a co-founder of OpenAI. You have a VP of autopilot at Tesla coming through, Ben Horowitz from A16Z, a guy from Roblox, Y Combinator, Gary Tan from Y Combinator, Jensen Huang from NVIDIA.
Casual
all
Sam
of these,
Altman in there.
Sam Altman, Satya Nadella, you know what I'm saying? Like, just on the roster. And so in that case, right, then you might be able to get a pretty good return on your investment, because in what other scenarios are you going to have the chance to be in a room with these people?
Yeah.
Right. But other than that, man, it can be really difficult, I feel like, to figure out how to do it. And I mean, a lot of these tech people, the funny thing is they're out there. What are they saying? They're saying, you might want to go to trade school. That's what they're all screaming.
Yeah. And I feel like there is a lot of trade jobs actually that have popped up in the past like 10 years, where people are figuring out how to make a lot more money doing those jobs, or, like running like a plumbing business or something like that, where it's like more brick and mortar, but because of social media and technology, like those businesses are booming, but yeah, that's so it is tough to think about college now, just because of the opportunities that exist. I didn't even know that colleges were starting to adapt though and make courses like that. I don't know if this is happening now, but I hope that some colleges are creating courses about what we're doing. Like, I hope there is a live stream class that's like, if you have an interest, this is something that you can do. Because I just feel like the old traditional way that it's just so unnecessary. And the way that we learn now, like I use YouTube for everything. If I need to do, anything, it's straight to YouTube or the internet in general. So I feel like school has become, it now feels like, and I don't know because I'm not in it, but it now feels like this either or. Whereas when we went to school, like it was more of, if you didn't go to college, there was this kind of like, oh, you didn't go to college. Like you're in this category. And if you did go, you're in this category. And I think that line, it seems anyway, like it's more blurred now. That like, it's like, yeah, it doesn't really matter. Cause I mean, you could be a Twitch streamer and, make a bunch of money. So yeah.
If you're enjoying this, this was actually taken out of a piece of our live stream where we go live every Tuesday and Thursday at 12 p.m. Eastern. If you want to see the full version of this episode, you can click the link in the description down below. But for now, back to the clip. In What a Sale in the chat just said, I saw a data center electricians making over $250K, and the industry is fighting over them currently.
Yeah.
Right. So, I mean, what kind of people are, making that kind of money, period?
Exactly.
Very few.
No, exactly. Like there's, it's
so,
yeah.
Things are definitely changing in that regard. And it's interesting. I didn't think about it from the social perspective too much, but it's, anyone who's like my parents, for instance, they are still in that mindset of like, oh, well, you're either doing this and you're one of those kind of people, or you're not, and you're one of those kind of people. But for us, we don't necessarily look at each other that way because everybody's graduating and no one's getting a job. Right.
Yeah.
It's also been years of propaganda too, or messaging that basically drilled that into their head, which is a very important thing to think about too. And Keith, you and I talk about the foundation of keeping people on the machine by preaching, oh, you need to own a home. The university degree is what supersedes that, right? Like it's the university degree and then that. So essentially, like you have to work a job forever because of the debts that you incur during that time. So yeah, I think being a lot more selective with, is this right for where I want to go? And the crazy thing is that probably forces kids to even think about that on their own. Right? Like most of the time when kids are asked, like, what do you want to do? It's under these, like, what degrees exist. Now it's like, I think that's a very flawed lens of analysis at this given point, because you can create your own job.
Yeah.
Right. Like that's something that's never been around in human history. And so by going to a kid and saying like, do you want to be a doctor, a lawyer, or whatever? Like she, they may have a better idea in their own head, but like until a parent says like, you can go explore that, they may never try.
One of the things about the college conversation that came back to my mind too is I saw so many people going to university to go to like business school and having no real idea of why or what they were actually going to do. So Ben, you were talking about this idea of people actually starting to be more conscious of what is it that they want to do. I think that's super, super powerful and important, because that's a big piece of what's happened is just, oh, we'll just go to business school and like you'll figure it out. But that didn't necessarily help anyone.
No, I went to business school because I did think about this when I was really young. I know that I'm not normal that way, but whenever people would ask me what I'm going to do, I'm like, I don't think it exists yet. So I wouldn't answer their question because I could just feel that things were changing so rapidly. And they'd always put me in boxes like, oh, you're going to be a real estate agent, or you're going to be this, or you're going to be that, because through their lens, like that was what would make sense for someone with my natural skill set. But with how fast things move, it's almost dumb to say you're going to be anything, because there may be a better opportunity tomorrow, and your ability to be nimble and reflexive is going to be truthfully your biggest skill set. So I think that's a huge, huge thing that not many people consider. And I only went to school realistically to play football and to get my parents off my back. And so once I was there and I saw that my education was a joke, Keith, because I was in the business program. And so I looked around and everyone in my program was saying the same sort of thing, right? Like they were there because, oh, like you can do anything with business. But if you can do anything with something, you can probably do nothing with something. Do you know what I mean? Like I'm like, this makes no sense. And also the people that I was around, I was like, bro, like these people are not trying to do anything. They're here to party. They're here to chill. And so that's why I just didn't really care about my studies throughout school. And I used this as, okay, this is my time where no one's going to be watching my time. And so that's why I would spend all of my time building my business. I partied a lot too, don't get me wrong. But like all my other free time, when I go to the library, I wasn't reading the book. I was on YouTube, educating myself, reading a blog post, making a video, that stuff.
Man, that's so interesting, because I was the kid who was like, I feel like I got really good grades totally out of fear.
I did not care.
I was a procrastinator. Like I definitely crammed for tests, but like I really I wasn't a good student. Like I didn't do it the right way, but
Got it.
I was like, I have to get good grades because that's the only thing that seems to be the only thing that matters. And people will stay off my back if I just do well.
Got it. Yeah, that makes sense. I think a lot of people are in that. I never really cared because I saw that school just didn't make sense for what I wanted to do. So what I did is I needed 70% to remain in my internship program, and I was very proud of the fact that I got 70.02. And my dad told everybody at that Christmas, he's like, this fucker just got like barely over the thing to stay in there. And I was like, I'm proud of that. Like that's exactly what I was trying to do, and I did it.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. Been a big tell for me was definitely the people that I was in class with, and just like recognizing that, yeah. So I definitely was on the side of, I'll be honest, of like, I'm here, but I'm actually like watching charts in the back of the lecture hall and
Yeah.
like, trying to like run my e-commerce ads and stuff
Yeah.
like that, like not actually paying attention to the teacher. But I would notice so many other people were like locked in. And I'm like, but what are you doing when the class is gonna end? You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, you're just gonna like go do whatever. You know what I'm saying? You're only trying to get the grade. So, it was very interesting. I definitely was like observing that as I was there. I'm like, and it, unfortunately for me, this like fed an ego in me. I thought that I was like, doing something so superior to everyone around me. But then I had to realize like, well, people are doing what there's holes or what they think is normal and what's right. But yeah, it was a very interesting situation.
I get that totally, because I was doing the same sort of stuff. But if you do spot that a system is broken, it's not saying that you're superior for doing something different. It's just saying like, I see what's in front of me, so I'm going to do something differently. Like I saw it in the university ecosystem. Their incentive structures were just so broken, even in terms of what they rewarded, the people that they rewarded. Like there was this entrepreneurship scholarship that I applied for. I was the only one running an actual business, and I didn't win. Bro, they gave it to some guy who volunteered for the entrepreneurship community to take photos. I was like, what the hell is that? And so then I was like, yeah, I don't care about you guys whatsoever. This is bullshit.
Yeah. Because what they really mean by entrepreneur scholarship is go work for a big four. You'll fit in just perfect.
Totally.
The guy who already started the business, like he's going to come with all kinds of ideas. We don't want that.
That's a great point, Dan.
Like almost like you kind of worked yourself out of the running.
Yeah, I listened to it too much that I actually worked myself out of it. That makes sense.
Yeah. Interesting comments, man. Yeah.
I wouldn't be sending my kid to school unless they were begging me to go, is what my 2 cents would be.
Yeah.
Like they would have to convince me why they need to go to school versus the other way around.
I like that spin on it.
Yeah.
Like, because it's like you guys first asked me, like, what do you think about going to school? And I have versus like, if I had a child and what would I tell them? It would be that. It would be like, well, listen, son, like, there's a lot of, especially with the background that I have now, it's like,
yes,
you can just like make videos where you say that you're, and you know how I said I was a man child? You could just get on here and be like, I'm a 5-year-old child.
Yeah.
Like, that could be, that could start a business. So yeah, my advice to a kid thinking about college would be, it would be a lot more like, prove to me why you need to go, because it's expensive, and what are you going to get out of it?
Yeah, it used to be the other way around where you'd have to like convince your parents why you don't need to go, and I think it should kind of be flipped at this point.
Yeah.
Super fascinating. It's like, you need to write an essay to me, right? About you wanting to go to university.
Well, because my sister went to university, and I had already been through all of this, and I knew it was coming, and I sat her down and I was like, there's no point. I know what you're going to school for, because she went to school for a program that was called like leadership. It was one of the business majors at my school. And I was like, Abby, come on. Like, what do you think leadership is going to freaking teach you, right? And I said to her, I was like, you're going to incur a lot of debt. You're going to do all of these things. And I said, and you're probably going to come out of this and become a real estate agent. And you don't even need the degree to do this. It's literally exactly what happened. But the kids are so bought into the propaganda of wanting to go and party.
Yeah. Yeah. And like, I can't sit here and say there's not value in that. Like,
True.
I feel like I've gotten into certain situations and opportunities in my life just because sometimes I like to go out and have fun. And so I can't knock I don't know if you guys delved. I feel like we're all in various corners of the internet. Like I love going down rabbit holes, and like I'm fascinated by the current like looks maxing situation, like whatever's going on there. And there was this interview with the main guy, Clavicular. I'm sure you guys have heard that name. And he's being asked like, do you see value in human interaction? And this is a kid who like was 13 during COVID or something. And so it's like, oh yeah, this guy needs to go to college. Like this guy needs to party. Like, true. Man, is this what like 19-year-old kids think of the world? Like, dude,
totally
you need to have a beer, man. Like, so yeah. So in that sense, I did think, that was like a benefit to it, but definitely not a reason to go spend $150,000, just to do that.
Totally.
If you're enjoying this was actually taken out of a piece of our live stream where we go live every Tuesday and Thursday at 12 p.m. Eastern. If you want to see the full version of this episode, you can click the link in the description down below. But for now, back to the clip. Yeah, and one of the things that I hate about, having this conversation of like, don't go to universities, like all of us here are products of technically having gone to university. Right. Yep. So it's hard to really truly say that without acknowledging that reality at the same time. Right. If someone were from our universities, prospective universities, they'd be like, oh, yeah, really? Well, everything that you're doing, you technically went to university before you were continuing to do all of these things or as you were doing them, whatever. Yeah. And it was a part of our trajectory,
For sure. Because it was kind of a domino effect of like, because I went to school, I, got this internship, which did eventually get me to go visit this city. And when I visited, the just chain of events.
Exactly. Yeah. So you made me think of one of the things that I was seeing when I was evaluating what universities I wanted to apply to. Do you guys remember I'm Schmacked? I guess, Dan, this would have been like, you would have been out of the scene by then.
I don't.
Ben, did you see I'm Schmacked back in the day?
Yeah, I did. And then the guy who made that, or one of them, he makes a lot of business content on TikTok.
Fascinating. But yeah, so I remember watching that with my friends. It's like a party media brand. They ended up getting in like some trouble, and like I don't think that they're able to really do what they were doing in the same way, but they would go to all these universities and like they would throw a big party. And then they like show like the behind the scenes of throwing the party, and then like all of the crazy highlights and scenes from these parties. And it was just like the perfect promo video for each university to like show how hard they party.
Imagine if they had an affiliate program. I commented that on his thing when he talked about the business. I was like, dude, if they even had like a 1% affiliate program, you'd be so rich.
That's so true. Yeah, that's 1%'s a nice little coin.
Oh, for sure.
Oh man, and you get recurring on that if they go to grad school too.
That's what I said. I'm like, bro, you'd be retired. You'd be running this thing.
I'll have to check that out. Is that almost like, it sounds almost like Full Send or something like that?
It was Full Send before Full Send, I think, right?
Exactly.
Okay. Gotcha.
Yes. It was like Full Send and the whole thing. And the one, so I ended up going to the University of Miami. And so the one for U of Miami was probably one of the most lit ones.
Totally.
Yeah, that's so, dude, that's cool that you went to Miami, dude. I feel like I went to school up in Pennsylvania, and I feel like I was I told my parents, like, I want to go to school in Florida. And they're like, I mean, you can do whatever you want. Like, you're going to have to pay for it. So, like, if you want to go down there, you can. I was like, yeah, I guess that doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
Yeah, man. But, man, so much to talk about from that. But I just remembered being up in my friends' rooms and we were watching those videos, and that being a legitimate thing that would like make you feel a certain way about the university that you're going to.
Yeah.
Wes
did you ever
said,
watch that type of media and think like, I could do something like this? Or were you watching it with like a,
Well, the funny thing is that I was a DJ. So a big part of that was like, oh, here's a DJ. This like they're throwing these parties, right? So I actually was thinking to myself like, oh, this is something that I could totally do in some ways. And I had thrown some parties in high school, and like the first thing that I did when I got into my university's group chats was like, yo, I'm a DJ. Like, let me know, hit me up.
That's awesome. Did you DJ at many parties?
Not a ton of stuff, but I did like some tailgates and stuff at even like local universities around, and so
That's
that was
sick.
a lot of fun.
Oh yeah, I'm sure you have some great stories from the University of Miami.
You know,
Good night out.
another piece of the university thing that's interesting is the whole Greek life.
Mhm.
So I was not in any fraternities, but that man,
They're
there's a lot of
crazy.
economics to that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That shit's crazy, man. It's
It's
got a
crazy.
smaller scale here, but I was in a frat, and you see all that crap. I wasn't as into it as some of the other brothers were. I think that's what they call themselves, right? Um, Fraternity brothers, and but it was insane, and especially in America, you guys have some very deep rooted ties from the connections to the establishments themselves and these like societies.
Mm.
Yeah. I don't really know. I wasn't in Greek life. I played a year of football, which was like kind of like Greek life. But
Yeah,
no, I never really got into it, but like I would always, I'd be at like parties and stuff like that, and it always was like just kind of crazy how and if you go to like some of the bigger schools, like I'm sure Miami had some massive fraternities and like, talk about post school connections. That was probably, I think at the time I was kind of like, no, I don't want to do Greek life. But then I saw the guys getting opportunities when they got out because, like, so and so's dad is a high level attorney in Philadelphia and has all these connections and whatnot. So, yeah, definitely see the value in that.
Yes. So U Miami is also, it's not a massive school, so we didn't have like the crazy Greek life that I kind of saw a little bit growing up in the South and whatnot.
Yeah.
But once again, the economics piece of it all was definitely happening there. And um
What do you mean
I'm
specifically when
I
you say
know
that?
I'm trying to say it. I'm trying to find the way to say it, but um there's a lot of things that university students need, right, to get through, to be able to be successful in their academic careers. They don't need these things, but they can have them. And the truth of the matter is, these universities and the universities they turn their own kind of they do what they need to do. A lot of these large universities, they have their own kind of police forces sometimes as well. You'll kind of
Mhm.
notice that kind of a piece of
Yep.
it. And all I'll say is that in a lot of ways you can recognize that there are certain entities that are somewhat protected,
Yeah.
and in a lot of ways, like, there's kind of like, don't talk about this, don't talk about that, but there's activities that are happening that almost mirror, I guess, what you would see outside in the real world at a large scale as well. But maybe that's also just my university, and it's just because I was in Miami,
no,
but I do think it's a part of
that's
that
a
culture.
thing for sure.
It's
I think
yeah.
athletics is a thing too, where that trickles over. Same sort of stuff, right? Where the people become untouchable, and then what does that do to your brain
Yeah,
Yeah.
as
Yeah.
a
yeah,
young
that's
man?
crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, because you're seeing on campus is like even frats or athletes is kind of like, oh, that's so and so from this community. You know what I mean?
Yes,
Like they have a team around them, so like
Don't screw
just
with
be
them.
aware.
Yes,
yeah.
and I think a lot of people take advantage of that to do some stuff that they probably shouldn't. But Keith, I was looking at my university was bigger than yours in terms of school.
Wow. Yeah, I
That's
believe it.
shocking to me.
Yeah.
Because I went to school in Canada, and I'm like, how many students went to the University of Miami? We have like a fair amount more than you.
What was yours at?
We were at like 30 something K.
Oh, double. Yeah,
Yeah,
almost double.
yeah.
Yeah, man. You might was like 15 undergrad, 10 undergrad, like 15, 20 total. Um, yeah, it seems like such a big school because of the party life or whatever, but
The
Yeah, I
brand.
didn't know
yeah,
that.
the
I thought
brand.
it was only like 10K undergrad.
Yeah, it's pretty small, and maybe it's changed a little bit, but yeah, a lot of my friends, they went to like the University of Tennessee's, 50 plus thousand kids, U
Yeah.
Michigan, like crazy head counts.
Yeah.
So I didn't have like that kind of college experience. I love talking about it though, because the brand of Miami is so massive, and people like, it's known for like, oh, you must have had such a good time, and it's like,
Yeah.
listen, it's
I mean, when
only
you're seeing
Miami.
what's that Drake video where he's like on
Yes,
University of Miami's God what is that
God's plan. I was there.
God's
I was
Plan?
there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I mean that's the biggest marketing, like commercial for the University of Miami.
Yeah, dude, that was a crazy day. I feel like I've already talked about it on the pod, but like I was a freshman, so we were all in class, and then there was just rumors just started spreading real fast that Drake was there, and then we all just like left class. The teachers were just like, "All right, just leave." Like,
Yeah, dude, that's crazy. That's awesome, man. Yeah,
but
we didn't have stuff going on like that at where I went to school.
yeah, so the one that we were like, Stanford has Sam Altman, Satya Nadella, and all these people coming through. We had Rich the Kid, Drake. Like,
That's awesome.
Tale of Two Cities.
Yeah, that's unreal.
Hey, you made it to the end of the clip. That means you're probably enjoying this. And if so, just know that you can catch us live every Tuesday and Thursday at 12 p.m. Eastern. And if you want to see the full version of this episode, you can click the link in the description down below. Otherwise, YouTube thinks that you will enjoy this next.